with my last book, Talking to Strangers, I have sold way more audiobooks than I have hardcovers. So that was an eye opener for me. And I did it, I didn't just read it into the microphone. I produced it like a podcast, like a narrative, like an audio documentary. I had all of the tape of everyone I interviewed. I had archival tape. I had scoring it. And we did the same thing with this book. And with this book, and what it changes is it changes how you write it, because you're thinking about the listening experience, and you're thinking about, I can describe this guy, Curtis LeMay, and I'm going to let you hear him. And if you hear his voice, you get an insight into who he is and the decisions he makes in a way I could never explain to you on the page.
Right.
So it changes the story I'm writing a little bit, but also it gives you way more freedom, because audio, as you know, we're all in the audio business. Audio, I can distribute for nothing online to anyone in the world, right? So all of a sudden, the minute I think of this as an audio product first, not only do I think it's a better story, but it gives me more and my audience way, way more freedom.
Yeah.
I don't need a printer. I don't need a bookseller. I don't need Amazon. I don't need paper. I don't need any of that stuff, right?
Yeah.
And that insight, that was the insight that started our company, which was audio can make us free, right? And once I realized, it took me a little while to realize that. Once I realized that, I was like, oh, I'm gonna tell stories from now on, because that's free. Like, that frees up me. It's and that, you know, that I no longer think of myself as a print first writer. I'm audio first writer.
Well, I mean, I think it's like the difference between a script and a screenplay, right? Almost.
Yeah.
Like it elucidates so much more. It activates on the most important, in my opinion, the most important principle in writing, which is theater of the mind. Like when you say the word chair, we all have our own version of what a chair is, right? But the more context you give the reader, the more influence you can have over theater of the mind. Letting them hear the way Curtis LeMay talks, for example, just the audio of an interview will change their opinion of the man immediately, right? Even if they don't realize it's happening, it changes their opinion of the man immediately. Hearing him say his own words in his own tone completely changes everything.
Absolutely, because we only read this in print, so I haven't gotten to hear the audiobook yet. I didn't. I was unaware of that. And we had Matthew McConaughey on a couple months ago with his book, and I told the audience the same thing. I'd read the book, and then I'd listened to the audiobook. Hearing Matthew McConaughey read his own book exactly like you wanted him to read it, man, was just a lights-out experience, and it was my favorite audiobook of last year. The fact that you were able to integrate real interviews into your audiobook, now I have to get the audiobook tonight. Like, that's my next, click.
So proud of it. I mean, let's be clear, we spent probably $200,000 and 5-6 months making the audiobook. I mean, it's not a trivial undertaking, but we think it's worth it just because of that. It's like, if I can put you inside a B-29 flying over Europe in 1943 and put you in the head of some of those kids inside that plane, that is an amazing experience.